So many of you all are struggling with porn addiction because you use porn as a placeholder for premarital sex. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean when I say you've used porn as a placeholder for premarital sex? Well, simply this. Some of you all have prayed and asked God, said, God, I want to keep myself till marriage. I don't want to have sex. And you have these desires that are inside of you, right? You want to have intimacy, you want to be close to another person. That desire itself is natural. There's nothing wrong with that desire because God himself created you with the desire. It's just that that desire is supposed to be within the confines of marriage. But what you've decided to do in many cases is say, look, I can control these thoughts, I can control these urges. The devil in many instances have taken those thoughts and amplified those to the umpteen power, and have in many instances introduced perverse thoughts and perverse imaginations into your psyche. And so the way that you decide to deal with it is by like, hey, look, I'm not gonna have premarital sex, but at least I can like look at a porn because porn will give me my fix. It's not really a sin, so I can just look at porn and masturbate a little bit to get the tension off of me. But guess what? I didn't have premarital sex. And what I'm saying is that's a wrong train of thinking. And yes, indeed, it is a sin. It's fornication. It's fornication. Let me tell you a story with me. Some years ago, I would get teased about being a virgin and stuff like that when I was around 16 years old or so, 18 years old or so. And I remember this preacher's son twisting the scriptures. And that's what the devil does all the times. He's a twister of scriptures. And he said, you know what, Dominic, you might as well go out there and have sex because so if a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. In other words, you're already looking at pornography. You're already masturbating, for example. Go with me, folks. You're already doing wrong stuff, so you might as well introduce that behavior into the real world because God is already looking at what you are doing as being sinful. And on certain parts, he was right. Yes, God did look at what I was doing as sinful, be looking at pornography and stuff, reading pornographic material at the time. But then the other part is I should have rebuked that thought. I should have rebuked those words that were spoken over me because of that, that made me say, you know what? This person has a point. I'm already sinning anyway, so if I'm gonna go to hell, at least I'm gonna go to hell, you know, haven't had having had sex and not being a virgin. So just that one decision to listen to that conversation led to just years of not only me continuing in pornography addiction, but in many cases engaging in promiscuous behavior. Not saying that I was just out there, but I was out there, if that makes sense. You have one having sex with one person outside of marriage is one too many, according to God, right? So my point is this: when it comes to pornography addiction, a lot of you all have used porn as a placeholder because you think to yourself, well, this is at least better than fornicating outside of marriage, and not understanding that you're sinning, right? And it's not holy, it's not pure, and also not understanding how you engaging in that behavior is influencing, could potentially influence your choices in mates. When it's time for you to get married, when it's time for you to settle down, because you're going to be expecting things that that person was not equipped to, nor should they deliver on. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't deliver upon that. All of a sudden watch these porns all these years. All of a sudden you want a girl to pee on you. You want a guy to choke you out, and right when you at the point of unconsciousness, You won't have an orgasm. Just all kinds of crazy, warped things that have come because of your years of watching uh, pornographic material in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it be conversations, the things you read, or the things that you watch on screen. So or listen to as a music. So yes, it's a dangerous thing, and you all have many of you all have used plain porn as a placeholder in your life. So I want you to ask yourself this question as an assignment. When was the last time that you used porn as a placeholder? Or have you used porn as a placeholder in your life? Are you one of those people that have said to yourself, you know what? I don't want to have sex before marriage, but at least I can watch porn. You have a lot of virgin women who say, well, this is a silly thought, but you have a lot of girls that are virgin who will say, well, you know what? Uh, I'm a vaginal virgin, so I'll have sex in the anus, and that way I really save myself because you know what? I'm really still a virgin because I still haven't had sex in my vagina. I just had sex in my butthole. And I'm sorry for saying it like that. I'm just being honest. And you have other people say, well, you know what? I'm waiting till marriage to have sex, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with me getting some dildos and masturbating to those dildos because I'm still pure. And what I'm trying to get you to see is you're not pure. So yes, you may think that you're a virgin in a physical realm, but in the spirit, you're not a virgin. In the spirit, God looks at you as a fornicator. God looks at many of you all as adulterers in the spirit. So yes, you said, well, I'm married now, Dominique. I'm not. There's nothing wrong with me watching some porn. That my wife is gone or my husband is gone, whatever the case may be. What's wrong with me engaging in porn? Well, simply this: your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Number one. Number two, your body is not your own. It's your wife's or your husband's. And then number three, you are literally cheating on them with a spirit spouse. Because when you have sex, when you masturbate, you are creating a covenant with a spirit spouse. And you can look on my channel to see what I'm talking about when I talk about spirit spouses. So here you are masturbating, doing all this stuff sexually that you're supposed to be doing your wife. You sharing this with the spirit spouse. So in essence, you have committed adultery. In the spirit realm, you committed adultery. And you have to understand that God is a spirit. And those who worship him must worship him in what? In spirit and in truth. So the way that we communicate with God the Father is through spirit. So anything that we do, whether good or bad, have spiritual consequences. And they're more real than the things we do in the physical. So when you're physically masturbating, it has a spiritual consequence. And that consequence is known as adultery if you're married. If you're single and you're masturbating, it's known as fornication. Now, again, when I say this doesn't mean what the devil said, well, like I got when I was 18 now. That means that you need to just go out there and fornicate. See, I'm a virgin. Dominique just said that if you're masturbating and I'm a single woman, that God already looks at me as a fornicator, so I might as well go out there and just get it in. I'm not saying that. Because here's the other thing. Once you connect to another individual, the level of spiritual bondage becomes even deeper because then you create a even deeper soul tie. Yes, you have created a soul tie via masturbation, but when you have sex physically with another individual, then you create a deeper soul tie with another individual and you're taking on whatever spirits that they have and they're dealing with on the inside of them. So again, folks, I encourage you to ask yourself what, and be honest with it. Are you using porn as a placeholder because you're lonely? Are you using porn as a placeholder because you're single and you need a release and this is readily available? And you feel like, at least with this, I can get a release when I get ready. Be honest about that, folks. And once you're honest about it, go to the Lord and say, God, help me. God, deliver me. God, give me the tips and the strategies that I need to succeed. God, bless me. And if you want more tips and strategies of one-on-one coaching, go to www.pornaddictshelp.com, www.pornaddictshelp.com, or shoot me an email at support@pornaddictshelp.com, support@pornaddictshelp.com. I love you guys. God bless you. Peace.